Welcome to another episode of Follow the Brand. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM, a 5-star personal branding and business development company. I want to take you on a journey that takes another deep dive into the world of personal branding and business development using compelling personal story, business conversations, and tips to improve your personal brand. By listening to the Follow the Brand podcast series, you will be able to differentiate yourself from the competition and allow you to build trust with prospective clients and employers. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Make it one that will set you apart, build trust, and reflect who you are. Developing your 5-star personal brand is a great way to demonstrate your skills and knowledge. If you have any questions for me or my guests, please email me at grant.mcgaugh, spelled M-C-G-A-U-G-H, at 5-star BDM, B for brand, D for development, M for masters.com. Now let's begin with our next 5-star episode on Follow the Brand. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Follow the Brand podcast. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, and today I would like to know if you have a curiosity to achieve greater knowledge. My guest, John Carpenter, does, and he stated during our interview that he helps students manifest their intellectual ability to think bigger about the world around them. Career development can be achieved by looking into the mirror and asking yourself how you are contributing to your success and the success of others. This may be a good time to be honest with yourself. You can become stronger and more confident by working with others to collaborate and leverage a collective call to action. If you are looking for that moment of clarity to expand your influence in the community, let's contribute and empower ourselves with a spirit of resilience to create change in our society. John Carpenter is the Assistant Director of Executive Education for the College of Business at Florida Atlantic University, the largest provider of graduate degree and professional development certificate programs in the state of Florida. He oversees recruitment, marketing strategies, program management, and corporate partnerships for business professionals throughout South Florida, nationwide and internationally. Before this role, he was the Director of Finance for International Education Corporation in Orlando, Florida for 5 years. John earned a Bachelor of Arts in Architecture, Urban and Regional Planning, an Executive Master of Business Administration, and several professional certifications in sustainable cities, project management, and urban development. John serves on the West Palm Beach Community Redevelopment Agency Advisory Board, which focuses on social and urban redevelopment for blighted and underserved communities in the Northwest District of West Palm Beach. He is the liaison to the National Black MBA Association and National Association of Health Services Executives South Florida chapters. John co-founded and is a mentor for the FAU Business Mentor Program and served for 8 years as the Florida Regional Director of Administration for Alpha Nu Omega Fraternity, Inc., which promotes leadership, professional development, and community engagement amongst college students from minority and marginalized communities. John's extracurricular interests include worldwide travel, volunteering, cycling, and an affinity for various art, music, and literature and city planning. Let's welcome John Carpenter to the Follow the Brand podcast, where we are building a 5-star brand that you can follow. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining another episode of Follow the Brand. We're going to take it up a little further north. When I say north, I'm talking about West Palm Beach in the world of the FAU college. We're talking about the Florida Atlantic University. They're actually in a couple of different locations, but we have a special guest, Mr. John Carpenter. He hails from West Palm Beach, and he's been a part of the program for a number of different years. And I wanted to bring him on the show to talk about why he got involved with FAU and what he's doing there and the things that really get him out of bed, that passion that he has for recruitment, for enrollment, for working with young individuals, people that are early in their career or people that are even further along in the career and taking that leap forward with different or more education, I would say it like that, training and networking and all the things that come with that whole college experience. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on John Carpenter. He's going to introduce himself and we'll get going on Follow the Brand.
Hi, Grant. Good evening. Thank you so much for having me on tonight. It's really been a pleasure just working and collaborating with you over the past several years. And I'm just excited to see our partnership continue to flourish and personally just really proud of you. To everyone else, my name is John Carpenter, and I'm the Assistant Director for our Executive Programs at Florida Atlantic University. And I originally am from Michigan. I've lived in Florida most of my life. And I studied architecture and urban planning for my bachelor's degree, and definitely a passion of mine. I just found cities and design to be so fascinating and something that I really wanted to pursue. Like many others, I graduated during a pretty rocky period, and I finished during the financial crisis of 2009. So found myself at a juncture and a crossroads where I had to really do some soul searching and figure out what to do next. And again, I'm sure many of you contemplate that at different points in your life where you're wondering, what am I supposed to do? I've done everything that I was instructed to do. I followed my parents' guidance. I was told that going to college would lead to this. And then, life throws you those curveballs. So I had an interest in finance and working with people, and I'd been in different positions throughout college and even prior to that. So thought it'd be interesting to get into the higher education sector just to have that professional environment of working with students and helping them with achieving their goals. And I thought it'd be something, transitional just to kind of get me through that rough patch and not knowing that it would become a career. And here I am 12 years later, now director for the university. So I worked as a director of finance for a college in Orlando, and then headed back down to Palm Beach, just for a chance to get closer to family. And I was getting a little homesick, looking for a new change. But now I've been with FAU for 6 years now, and I oversee all of our recruitment efforts, marketing. I work with a lot of our corporate partnerships, professional organizations, operations. So the list goes on and on. But it's a great space to be in because they do encourage creativity and they want you to be challenged in different areas. So I'm excited to be where I am in my career, and I'm hopeful that it'll continue to grow.
Man, I love that. I talked to a lot of different people, and it seems like the college experience, there is a significant change that occurs. There's a pivot that occurs. Like you do start out in a direction, in a curriculum, let's say. You say, you know what, I'm going to be an architect, and that's where I'm pursuing. And then as life changes, you start to see other opportunities. And I would say you were adept. You looked at, say, hey, look, this is not going to go in the direction I thought it was going to go in. But here you are now 12 years into your career. Am I right? 12 years?
Yeah, I mean, at least from college, but I've been working since I was 14. So I was thinking about that, and I'm like 20 years of work. I wonder if that means I can retire early, but I don't think it works that way.
And would you say this is a personal brand show, right? And branding is about yourself, how you perceive yourself, how you're perceived by others. Would you say that education is your brand?
I would say that, your brand can be a combination of interests. It has different facets. So education isn't always from a collegiate standpoint or a textbook standpoint, but I think it's just being intellectual, having a curiosity about the world, being exposed to different cultures, different industries. That's really what it's about is, having the ability to think bigger and think critically and not have biases. We all, we've all been raised in different environments. Some of us have been raised in very conservative households. Others have been exposed to a lot. Others have been sheltered. So I think once you get to that point where you realize that you need to challenge yourself and be intentional with your efforts of of expanding your knowledge, it means different things, not just from an academic standpoint, but really just being proactive and not being part of, being part of the solution, whatever way you can inspire change in whatever area that you find passionate, as something that you're passionate about. Do your part to inspire change and to make an impact, even if it's just your slither of the world. So education to me is in many different aspects.
For sure. I totally agree. Education and training has helped many to change the trajectory of their life and expand on their own personal experiences. And that definitely improves their lifestyle for sure. So if you had to give advice to somebody, they're coming on to your, or they're looking at FAU as a choice to do either their undergrad or a advanced training course or a master's degree, what advice would you give to someone that may want to pursue a career similar to yours?
Sure. I think along the way, what I've found most impactful is just the fact that, you can't and you shouldn't go through life alone. We are stronger when we, work in unison. No one is going to be skilled and strong in every single area. You may have your specific area that you focus on or your area that you are strong in, but you're not going to know everything, and nor should you. I believe that our world is designed to be collaborative and, in a space for us to, be able to, leverage each other's skill sets. So as you're contemplating the school, the program, the trajectory of your career, a lot of it is based on, your interactions with other people, how you carry yourself, being curious about the world, understanding what works, what doesn't work. It's not all about making money. I think it's about finding what's gratifying. If you can find that, middle ground where you can make an honest living and you don't hate and regret the choices you've made in terms of what you do each day, you're not exploiting innocent people, if you're not doing mundane work, if you're not just contributing to a problem, but you are, a part of some innovative way, even if it doesn't seem apparent at first, but if you can use your role to do something positive in the world, then I think you to me, that's how you measure success. It's not how much money you make. It's not the title that you hold. I think it's about being able to look in the mirror and be proud of the person that you see, and knowing that you're respected by others because they know that you are a person of honor. So that to me is, beyond education and beyond career. Those things come hand in hand. Like your education is going to come and go. You're going to be in school for a year, 2 years, 3 years, however much time you're in school. But there's another part of you that transcends that. So who you are at the core, what your values are, that is more important than what you do for a living. If your day-to-day life and your profession is something that is gratifying and you're making a difference, then focus on that. Don't focus on measuring your success in comparison to others, because we all have different paths that we're on, and we all have different ways to get there.
I totally agree with that. You've got to walk your path to find the destination that's right for you.
Yeah.
And I think life is definitely very individualized in that area. And you have the opportunity to be intentional on how you want to be perceived by others by how you're living your life every day. There's no doubt about that. But I want to pivot a little bit, because I think some of our audience, they're not in the Florida area. They could be from somewhere else. They're not familiar with the FAU program. And if you could just enlighten them, because I think in your role, you do a lot with enrollment. You do a lot, I think, with recruitment, some things with community relations. Just help them understand the brand that FAU is.
Sure. FAU is actually a pretty large university. It's one of the largest state universities in Florida. But we represent the College of Business. There's a division of it called the Executive Programs, which our business model is really to cater to working professionals. So we work with the busy people who have full-time jobs. They have a family. They travel, which I would say is a lot of South Florida. This is not an inexpensive place to live. I don't know many people that can afford to just be a full-time student without having a focus in being contributing to the household in some way. So most individuals in South Florida have to work full-time. And so our mantra is that you shouldn't have to compromise that or forego your career responsibilities in order to advance your education. So we offer a pretty flexible option for both local, regional, and international, domestic, out of state. We have options for pretty much anyone. And I think what's contributed to our success is the not only the flexibility but the service that we provide. We really try to make it concierge in the sense that it can be very just high anxiety for someone who's been out of school for a while. They don't know how they're going to advance their career, study, manage all these responsibilities. So we try to alleviate that by, making it more conducive for them to focus on their studying, focus on networking, building connections. We take care of all of our students' registration. We provide their textbooks. They have their own dedicated study rooms, tutoring. They have a cohort where they're a part of a group where they're able to learn and network together within their group. And we have career advising. There's recorded lectures. There's mentoring programs where they can be paired with our alumni. So we make it more of a well-rounded, robust program. The educational piece is part of it, but the ability to expand your knowledge and expand your connections and your resources, I think, is more so the value-added part of our experience at FAU. So
I think you nailed it right there. So that should give our audience a little bit better understanding of the program aspect of FAU. But I'm going to ask you something a little bit off script. And that means in your tenure that you've been working there at FAU, if you could tell a story that an experience that you had at FAU that was so impactful that it changed the way that you looked at yourself and the way you looked at where you work.
Okay. And this is like a case with a student or a case?
It's your story. What story that you want to tell that you thought was very impactful that you will want to share with our audience?
Okay. No, I think I'll be honest with you. A few years back, I had an opportunity to stop. And like I was just saying a few minutes ago, I had a chance to stop and look in the mirror and just say, John, like, what are you doing? What are you here for? Are you here to satisfy the requirements of the company? Are you here to make money? What is your purpose here? And I think this was all happening around the time of, a lot of the racial injustice that was happening in the world with George Floyd and, all of the Ahmaud Arbery and everyone that was Breonna Taylor, everything that was happening. It just got me to a place where I realized that, life is so precious and we have to do our part to, again, contribute to the solution. So I thought about my role with the university and how it's important for me to use my platform to inspire change and to make a positive influence. So I found it pivotal for me to work with organizations such as NACI and to work with organizations such as the National Black MBA and to be in the mentoring program and to try to connect our Black business leaders and Black professionals throughout South Florida and around the country so that we can be united and we can be empowered. And I was really impressed with, the individuals who I'd met, looking at their resumes, looking at their background. I was proud to see that we had individuals from every sector: healthcare, finance, technology, law, CEOs and CFOs. And I felt like we were missing that connectivity piece. There are great organizations in South Florida and nationally that are able to connect and bring these people together. But I wanted to do my part to help support that initiative and make sure that I was not just turning a blind eye to the inequity and to the fact that there are still a lot of things that we need to do in order to close the gap when it comes to respect, when it comes to assuming leadership roles, being in positions of power. I want to make sure that we have representation on all levels. So as my role in recruitment for these business professionals, it's important for me to encourage them, to inspire them, to get them to join these organizations and combine and collaborate and work together so that we can be more unified. And I think that was, to me, that moment of clarity, that epiphany moment when I realized this was my purpose for being here at FAU.
Man, that is a wonderful story. Very, very personal. Touched me for sure, because I remember how we met through the National Association of Health Services Executives, which is for Black healthcare leaders, to elevate them and to help people in the underserved communities, whether it's about affordability of healthcare or access to healthcare. I met you. I met Ellen Whiteman. You said, "Hey, we'd like to do an event with you. We want to bring together people." And this was at your new campus, I believe, in Davie. And we had a CEO Health Summit. Yeah. And it was just wonderful. We had, I don't know, maybe 100, 200 people there that impacted the entire society. We had people from Jackson Hospital. We had people from Broward Health Hospital and Memorial Health System in the community talking about these issues, talking about healthcare, and also the experience of minorities, specifically African Americans. And here we are. This is even before things that happened with like George Floyd and the others that you mentioned, and became a national cry, right? And to see that you are a young man, a young Black man, you're in your 30s, and what you're doing your part. That you felt the cry out and say, "Hey, there's something we need to do," because not everybody fits these profiles that I think that are out there. This is why I do what I do from a personal brand perspective. I want to elevate. I want to make sure that people have the visibility to see others in our society and what they're doing and how they're impactful, and they can create a trailblaze for others. And you're doing that, and I love that about you. This episode is brought to you by 5-Star BDM. 5-Star BDM is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for small to mid-sized businesses and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement in operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our 5-Star business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. The result is more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Please visit www.5starbdm.com to learn more and view all the episodes of Follow the Brand.
Thank you. No, and the feeling's mutual. I'm so proud of you, and I think we feed off of each other's motivation to make a difference. So I see you in your sector and what you do, and it gives me reassurance that we're not alone, that this is not a hopeless cause. And we all have personal things that we deal with, whether it be family, health, finances. But when you step out of your own immediate situation and look at the broader tapestry of what's happening, I think that we are part of history, and we will continue to be part of history because there's so many things that are happening, from conversations that are happening on equal racial justice, the pandemic, surviving through this tumultuous time, being in this technology era, and how we've just completely changed how we interact with people and network and function. So, what we do now will kind of shape how our society will be for the next decade or more. So we are part of that, part of that tapestry. So it's important for us not to forget that and not to lose sight that each and every one of us plays a part, and we're responsible. Whether you want to believe or accept that or not, we all have a responsibility to do our part. Doesn't mean that you need to be the next MLK. You don't need to be a Black Panther activist or anything like that. But I think, again, being part of the solution, whether it be how you represent yourself, pushing the envelope, having these conversations, setting an example, working hard and proving that you are just as competent, that you are just as intelligent, that you are just as capable as any of your counterparts. That's what we do. Let's love on each other by supporting brethren, not to sound biblical, but, when you think about, your peers in different areas, let's encourage them, let's motivate, let's support Black businesses, let's support, different causes and initiatives that are going on so that we don't get discouraged, so we're not perceived as though we're not able to unify and come together to do great things. So I'm really excited about the Black Professionals Month. I'm excited for NASI. I'm excited for this podcast series. So it gets me just inspired to do even more. And I hope the audience is doing the same.
Excellent. You just brought up Black Professionals Month. That is going to come out starting October 1st through the entire month, in which we're definitely putting a laser focus on Black professionals worldwide, whether in the DE and I space, which is diversity and inclusion, right? Equity, I'll say that correctly, right? So just moving forward, I want to ask this question of you. And that is, how do you continue to learn in order to stay on top of things within your role?
I think it's important to just stay relevant. And what I mean by that is, even though I finished my master's degree, even though I'm, well respected in my role, I feel like I've earned the respect of not only my peers, but leadership and cross industry, cross departments. But I think that it's important to never lose sight of the value of bettering yourself. So I listen to podcasts such as these. I attend lectures where I'm auditing courses. I'm signing up for certificate programs. Going back to my background in architecture, even though that phrase where they say, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. In this sense, after I finished my bachelor's, I waited 10 years, got my feet wet, got exposure, finished my master's in business. And now what I do is I'm a consultant for the city of West Palm Beach, and I'm on several advisory boards where I'm helping them with their business development strategies, their urban sustainability, helping them with bringing in new companies, helping them with the infrastructure and design of the city as it's being transformed to bring in new companies and businesses, and making sure that there is the adequate level of equity and inclusion while this transformation is taking place. So ensuring that small businesses are represented, making sure that we're working with the Black chambers to ensure that they're getting proper representation. So it's one of those things where it's coming full circle, where I'm able to do both without having to compromise one or the other. I still have my love of city and architecture design with my interest in business and my role with the university. I'm able to kind of connect all those dots together. So, it's one of those things that I think one of the questions you were going to ask is like, what gets you up in the morning every day? What keeps you relevant is the fact that I feel responsible in each of these, parts of my life where I don't want to take for granted the positions that I'm in by not staying informed, by not having a curiosity about, healthcare and inclusion and business development and strategy. So I've been working hard to get into these positions. So you can't just take it for granted by not challenging yourself to keep growing. So that in itself, I think, is what motivates me to continue to ask questions and learn and pivot myself in that direction. So,
well, man, I am proud of you. You are a great young man. You're doing great things. I see that world of resilience in you, that you're a fighter and you're able to adapt to change and understand that whatever you went through as an experience, you'll be able to use it at some point in time. And I see that you're doing that for the city of West Palm Beach right now. And you're furthering that cause and you're opening doors for other individuals. And I'm sure you've seen cohorts of students come through FAU. Yeah. And you've probably seen, hey, I remember you were a student. I see that you graduated and now look at you. You're successful. You're moving forward. That's got to be a good feeling.
It's an amazing feeling. I'm so proud of my students, and we really are not just what's your student ID number? We know our students by name. We know their family, their story. And we're part of their journey as they go through the program. And after they graduate, they come back and they're like, John, I really appreciate you. You believed in me. you inspired me, and it's mutual, it's vicarious because I learned from them as well. And we're peers, most of our students are in their late 20s, 30s, and 40s. So we're able to develop a rapport beyond, the professional realm where we become, business partners, we become friends, we have different areas that we can support each other in. So that's, I think, part of what leads to, my ability to be influential in different areas is that I have these connectivities with different people from around the country. So I try to maintain those relationships with them because I know that they're important, both personally and professionally.
That's very, very smart, John. And I'm going to ask you one more question. I want you to think about it. And I want you to project into the future. I want you to see yourself 3 to 5 years from now and tell us what you feel you'll be doing. What do you want to be doing in 3 to 5 years?
I was gonna give a joke, but no. I was gonna say hopefully on a nice vacation somewhere where my computer and my emails, nothing works. that would be great. No, I would hope to be in a place of greater financial literacy. I want to be focusing on investments. I want to be able to build generational wealth. I hope to continue to grow in my professional role here at the university. Even more involved in community outreach. I would say just a place of wisdom. I'd like to be first and foremost in good health, mentally and physically. I think that is key. Something I didn't touch on yet, but mental health to me is something that is extremely important. And I encourage everyone who is dealing with a loss or just a feeling of inadequacy or whatever it may be, whatever you may have been exposed to or confronted with, to invest in yourself enough to get the help that you need because you deserve it. And without strong health, mentally and physically, you really can't do anything. You can plan all day. You can plan to be the next CEO. You can plan to go to Dubai. You can plan all these things. But if you don't invest in yourself and your own vitality and your own, well-being, then you're really doing yourself a disservice. So I'd like to first and foremost continue to invest in my overall mental and physical health. Make sure that I'm focusing on wellness and just a healthy balance of working hard, but also knowing that, hey, you don't have to constantly be doing this and that and that and that in order to be validated. Be comfortable at times where you can say, I can step back a little bit. I can be just John. I don't have to be John, the director, John this, John, the mentor, John, that. Just be yourself for a change so that you can rediscover who you are and make sure that you're investing enough of that. So hopefully in 3 to 5 years, I will continue to be a person of some influence for the community and hopefully at a place where I can focus less on salary and more on, hey, less on livelihood because I'll be hopefully virtually debt free or close to debt free. And I can pour more of that money into generational wealth and supporting scholarships and supporting organizations such as yours and things like that. So that's my hope.
Man, I love it. I want to see Dean John Carpenter. Yeah. If you continue on the track that you're on, you're going to make education your career. Your leadership skills will propel you to those levels, and you'll probably be invited to take on those kinds of positions because you are qualified and that you can do a good job. And
Absolutely. I have a wonderful mentor. Last thing, I'm sorry. No, I just want to give a shout out to my mentor, Sybil Alfred. She's our associate director here, and she's really taken me under her wing, and she's really shown me what it means to be a transformational leader, a servant leader, I would say is even better. She rolls her sleeves back. Nothing is too beneath her. She could have 500 fires thrown at her every day, but she still maintains a level of calmness and optimism and direction. So I owe a lot to her. And I think that's why I've grown in my leadership abilities. And so I encourage each of you as well to find someone who is aligned with the type of person you want to emulate. Be your own person, of course, but the ideology, the values, the demeanor, and shadow that person, learn from them, grow from them, and they'll do the same from you. I'm sure they'll learn from you as well. So just
Oh
wanted to
no, without
add that
question,
last little
man.
piece.
Great shout out. And you have to have mentors. You've got to have people that advocate for you, and you get that coaching, that counseling you need, because they've walked in your shoes. They know where you've been. And if you want to go where they are, they can lead you there. So thank you for giving that shout out to Miss Sybil. Right.
Yeah.
So question before we leave, and we're about to wrap up now, is there anything else that you like to bring up at this point to the audience? And also, how do we get in contact with you?
Anything else I'd like to bring up? I don't want to stay on the soapbox and give you all these inspirational things, but no, I mean it wholeheartedly. I know it may have sounded cliche, but I really do hope that you all take something from this. And even if it doesn't resonate now, maybe at some point, you'll think back to this conversation tonight, and it'll have some meaning or impact in your life. So I just want to encourage you to, be honest with yourself. They're lonely and frustrated and depressed. But again, focus on the solution, focus on the journey. And so whatever you need to do to get yourself back centered and, in a place where you can be okay with yourself and being able to be fruitful for others, make that your priority. Everything else is going to be there. There's always going to be a handout. Like those things are always going to be there, but start by investing in yourself, and then you can be a better servant for others. So that would be my last takeaway. And if you're looking to reach me, I'm on LinkedIn, John Carpenter. If you're looking through FAU, you can contact me at john.carpenter and schedule a phone conversation, a video meeting. I'm happy to join you for coffee one day if you'd like, but would love to connect with you and we can learn from each other. So.
Well, thank you very much. This has been a wonderful, wonderful session. We look forward to go ahead and airing this out to everybody. We're going to be available on all the different podcast stations, whether it's on Spotify, iTunes, I think Google. I think we're on Amazon right now. And you can always reach us at www.fivestarbdm.com. You see all the episodes of Follow the Brand. This has been wonderful, John. Thank you again for being on the show. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me. Good luck to you.
All right. Take care.